First up, we attend the annual uMthayi Marula Festival, a traditional African celebration of the harvesting of the Marula fruit in the Kwa-Ngwanase district, north of Kwa-Zulu Natal. Let's take a look. The 22nd of February was a beautiful day for the celebration of the uMthayi Marula Festival, also known as the First Fruit Festival. It was held in the Kwa-Ngwanase district, which is under Inkosi Mabudu Tembe.
This festival, first and foremost, is a very old festival. It started when Inkosi Ngwanase descended from Mozambique after the Portuguese have actually colonized Mozambique. He wanted to find a sanctuary, a safe place for him to hide, and therefore he moved here. Because when they were living in Mozambique, they actually were practicing the issue of the Marula Festival. It then came into here and they continued with the tradition. For us as government, since 2005, we then moved in a bigger way in supporting this festival. And we must say therefore that we are bringing in a number of elements. We are maintaining heritage, which is absolutely fundamental for us. And this heritage is practiced both here in Watembe, South Africa, Kwa-Zulu Natal, in Mozambique and Swaziland.
This annual festival celebrates the harvesting of the Marula fruit. All residents under the Tembe traditional leadership bring their first batch of brewed Marula beer to present to the Inkosi.
As you recall that this tribe has been divided into two. We got still other part in Mozambique, and then we got other part in South Africa. In a sense that even the Swatis, we are also one family with them. So when you actually look into that, you'll see that this celebration is actually being celebrated by us and the Swatis and the Mozambicans. So we are trying to pull all those people together so that we can have common understanding. So this culture is actually the identity of the Tembe tribe. That we are the Tembes is how we bring people together so that we can send messages and then we share ideas.
The ceremony is of utmost importance for the Tembe people and they follow it through each year. It starts with local women bringing beer to the king's house. They are followed by men who come in numbers singing and dancing. They collect the king so he can take the first sip and then declare the harvest season open. Once this is done, anyone can brew and drink.
As the Tembes, we got a certain culture practice that each and every year as the year begins, we have to bow to our ancestors just to ask the program of the year to be very successful. So we actually practice that as a royal family members. As we are celebrating today, gathered with all the people of South Africa, people of Mozambique, people of Swaziland, we are just telling them our thinking, telling them of what we think that it will be good for us, what will be good for them. So we actually ask our ancestors before we could actually tell others that what is going to be our problem in the year.
Over the years, the event has become a major tourist attraction, drawing visitors from neighboring countries.
This festival for Mozambique is very important because it's a strategy for close cooperation, Kwa-Zulu Natal with Mozambique and the other neighbor countries. Therefore, we study to link our cultures and our procedures for developing tourism in our each countries. The Mozambican peoples and the South African peoples, they are very, very friendly, and therefore we have to start to link our cultures.
There's more to the festival than drinking the Marula beer and dancing. It's also about the preservation of the indigenous Marula tree that grows in abundance in this area.
We've got to be able to say, what is it that the communities can benefit from these trees? What is it that they can benefit from these animals? Hence our involvement with this uMthayi festival, because this is a clear demonstration of how an indigenous tree can contribute towards the development of a community. This festival is a manifestation of how an indigenous resource can be used for the benefit of the community, both from a tourism perspective and from a nutrition perspective.
Ezemvelo Wildlife has a huge task of educating locals on preservation.
The first thing that we do is to make people aware. If you create awareness, then at the end of the day, you plant the seed. And from the awareness of the importance of the tree, people will always ask, we conserve this tree and so what? Then festivals like this help us to showcase what is it that can be done with a tree like the Marula tree. And over and above that, when we beneficiate the fruit of the tree, then we go into the other level of what an indigenous tree can provide to the community. It doesn't just provide the fruit. When you beneficiate the fruit and we get the beer out of it and some other products, then we enter into the realm of retail. And from an economic perspective, it means a lot because people now can make money out of something that is indigenous. Because you don't necessarily have to take care of the Marula tree. Once you have planted it, it will grow all by itself. You don't even need to water it. That's the beauty of indigenous trees because they take care of themselves and you reap the benefits.
Several artists took to the stage to entertain the revelers attending the event. uMthayi Marula Festival also plays a pivotal role in terms of growth and development of the local residents.
The benefit is very huge. It might not be seen right now, but what we are trying to do here, we are trying to make sure that the tourism in this area, it must grow strength by strength, in a sense that all the lodges around, they are fully booked, there's no space. And in the lodge in particular, we've got a number of people who are working in the lodge. Like if I may make an example of one of the lodge, we got about 30,000 youth that are working in there. So as, all the lodges are fully booked, it actually indicates that there's a little bit of a job creation, but we don't want to end there. We want to make sure that we are also encouraging all the people who can actually afford to have B&Bs so that they can have that. And we also want to make sure that we are also creating the economic hub where people they can actually sell all these skills that they can actually develop among themselves. And we also want to make sure that whatever that we're going to create here, it's not going to end here. It must also create it in Mozambique, in Swaziland, so that we don't actually have the overcrowd of the people from Mozambique to come and actually steal our jobs this time. So we want to make sure that the beneficiation is actually being shared equally.
In attendance alongside many dignitaries was the Minister of Agriculture, who was there to announce a new growth plan for the festival.
It's our core function also to be part of this thing. So I was here last year, we committed 16 million for a processing plant because we don't want this thing to be seasonal, but it also must be able to create job on top of it. So people will be employed once this contract is finished, the factory is finished, there will be about 2,000 because we want this to operate 24/7. And also they must be able, because we've got our neighboring countries here, to export what will be produced here and even abroad if possible. But this INCOS of this area has got so passionate about this thing. So we felt as a department, we must put something to make sure that the sustainability, also job creation, you can see how many thousands of people here. So most of them are unemployed. And also today I'll be announcing other projects of about 78 million in this area. Despite that, also there's another project on the 25th of March. We'll be here around this area, myself and the Premier, for sort training of an abattoir. Then after that, we'll follow it by a dairy for the goats, and we'll be able to produce cheese and other stuff.
The government's involvement in this festival is aimed at growing the traditional event into an economically viable and sustainable project that will result in job creation.
To us, culture is our new gold. It is a gold that we can only forever live amongst the people and with the people, because you can only be able to ensure that culture continues to be practiced, because it must move from one generation to the next generation. And what we therefore do is that, whereas in the past there were no borders, Swazis, Mozambicans, and South Africans were able to have a free movement. Today we are using that bond to bind the very same thing that makes us to become one common nation within the regions and in our respective countries.
This means the festival is poised to become an iconic yearly event.
The vision is very huge in a sense that we are not going to wait for next year. We have to start to plan now after this festival, because we could see that festival is gaining momentum time to time, and we'll make sure that next year we'll have a theme that it will tell us that how should we move forward, what will be a benefit of the community, because the government, they might not keep on funding us, so we need to have the element of sustainable so that we can actually be able to sustain whatever that we've been actually get help out of.
This vision also resonates with the people who attended the festival for the first time and who were quite impressed by the whole celebration.
I'm very impressed by the turnout of the people. The local people supported this in their thousands. There's over 40,000 people who attended this. And what I gathered was that the people of this land love and deeply appreciate their king. And the king is one with them. So next year I'm coming back here because it was such a wonderful experience.
For me, it's a privilege to be here because I'm not Zulu. So it's very special for me to be part of your culture for one day.
This is a really cool opportunity for me to see a completely different culture than what I'm used to. So it's just a whole new experience for me.
Where are you from?
I'm from the United States.
Is it the first time being here?
Yes.
And you came to this festival.
They said it was a lot about drinking Marula and dancing and just seeing everybody.
Thank you.